Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Corin, also known as the Kitten Choreographer, and I am a teen with a passion for animal rescue and, in particular, kitten rescue. So I took a little bit of a break from kitten videos for like 2 videos, but I'm back now. So we got another good old informational kitten video for you today, and I'm actually really excited for this one. So today's video is all about kitten descriptions and kind of just how to write a good one. So one of the best ways to help your kitten get adopted is to write a good description. Getting a good photo is also very important, but today we're going to talk about the description aspect. I have a lot of people ask me, how do I get my kitten adopted? Like, there's no adopters. And I do kind of always say description and photos matters. There are some other things that matter, and I can actually do a video all about that if you're interested. But today I'm just going to walk you through how to write a good description for your foster kittens. So today I actually have some kittens that I need to write descriptions for. So at the end of this video, once I've kind of given you some tips on how to write a good description, I will walk you through me actually writing descriptions for a few kittens. So when I first started fostering, I worked with this one shelter that just did not seem to think descriptions were important at all. Like when I dropped the kittens off to be adopted, I would even give them a description that I had written and they just wouldn't put it on the website. They'd just say something like, this kitten is sweet and playful, and that's it. And I'm just like, so you're just talking about every socialized kitten in this entire world? Because I am going to guarantee you that every healthy, not feral kitten in this world is sweet and playful, because that's like kind of just the definition of a kitten. So that would be an example of just a bad description, and it's very obviously written by someone that didn't actually know the kitten, and some shelter worker just popped out a generic description. But I have noticed that a lot of shelters do this, or they just don't write a description at all. But through my time as a foster parent, I have realized just how important descriptions are, so that is why I want to teach you how to write a good one. Being basic when you're writing a kitten description is not going to help. There are so many kittens on this world, especially during kitten season. A generic, basic description is not going to pull people into your kitten, especially if your kitten looks more basic. And of course, I don't think that certain colors or patterns are better than others. A lot of adopters do look for the more unique looking kittens, and so especially if your kitten looks a lot like a lot of the other kittens at the shelter, you're going to need a really good description. When you're writing your description and people are looking at your description, okay, they're the prince from Cinderella, and you need to make sure your kitten sounds like Cinderella. Your kitten, it's not just any other old girl at the ball, and you especially don't want to make it sound like Cinderella's stepsister. Not one of the stepsisters here. You want your kitten to sound like Cinderella. You want for literally every person to read that description and say, yes, I want that kitten. And of course, that's realistically not gonna happen, because if you do a good job writing a description, you'll be able to write its key qualities there, and if someone reads it and goes, oh, I don't want this certain key quality in a kitten, so I'm not gonna get that one. Yes, that happens, but you want to portray your kitten's best features so that if a person reads the description and wants that type of kitten, they want that kitten. So let's move into the tip section, where I'm just going to be giving you some tips about writing your description. This is just throwing out tips here that I follow, that I think you should follow if you want to write a great description. So when I write my descriptions, I don't talk in a super formal language. I'm not writing a paper for my English teacher. You know, I kind of feel like I'm talking to a friend. I don't talk in like text format, you know, shortening words or anything, but I'm not using super formal language. I'm just kind of putting the information out there in a friendly, catchy manner, and you know, I'm not being too formal is what I'm saying. And this one may seem obvious, but your description should really fit your kitten. Whatever you do, do not put anything in that description that does not fit the kitten. Because say the person adopts the kitten thinking they're getting what you put in the description, and that's not the kitten at all, that's not good. So I say just think about what your kitten is like and put it in the description. And I say don't just put in their basic personality, but also put in some of their quirks. I've had lots of kittens over my time in fostering, and I will say that pretty much all of them have some little quirk. Not all of them are worth mentioning, because some of them are just like, this kitten drinks her water weirdly, and it's not really something that needs to be mentioned, but some of them are really cute features that your adopters might actually want to hear. So I definitely say to put those in the description. But if your kitten has a somewhat slightly unappealing quirk to a lot of people, and you do feel like you need to mention it because it's an important thing, mention it in nice wording. Don't lie, never lie, but mention it in an appealing way. Pause for a kitten to use the bathroom. Okay, she's finally done. That took way longer than I would have liked. No, you did not just move to another litter box to poop again. Okay, so basically what I'm saying is that when a kitten has a quirk that's not necessarily amazing in a lot of people's eyes, but it is important, you do need to put it in. But you don't want to just say something like, this kitten screams incessantly all day. You're going to want to spin that to be a little bit more appealing in the sense that you say this kitten is chatty. By using words with a more positive connotation like chatty or talkative, for example, you are still giving the adopters the necessary information so that they know the kitten will talk to them and meow. But you aren't using negative words that are going to scare them away from adopting, you know? I might say my one cat screams and annoys me all day with his meowing, but if I were to put him up for adoption, which I'm not because he's mine, I would not say, this cat is so annoying, he never shuts up. You know, I would spin it to be a little more positive. In addition to their fun little quirks and just quirks in general that need to be mentioned, put in fun things they do. A quick example I thought of was she watches YouTube with me. I do have some kittens that find it really interesting to watch the screen when I'm watching YouTube in my room, so that's a fun little quirk, you know. If your cat watches TV with you, you know, say like, oh, this cat watches TV with me, or if, you know, they do this or that that could be seen as cute or funny, put that. Any little interesting thing that they do can make them stand out in a crowd of kittens. Another thing is, I know I said this is more informal writing, but you should still use fancier adjectives. You don't want to do like, this kitten is nice, this kitten is sweet. Those are pretty basic adjectives, and for people that are less experienced with writing descriptions, they might want to lean to those, but those actually aren't the best to use just because, yes, they're descriptive and they work, but they don't spin the description to be as exciting as it can be. If you're not incredibly good at just coming up with synonyms to words like this, your best friend will be thesaurus.com because you can just type in, you know, a basic word. You just want to convey that meaning, but you don't want to use the word because it's kind of basic, and then you can find a different word that pretty much means the same thing but is fancier. So another thing is use figurative language and come up with fun concepts and ideas. You know, similes, metaphors, or hyperboles, just those are the ones I'm thinking of. They can be used to make the kitten sound amazing in a little bit more of an interesting way than just saying this kitten is amazing. It can show it in different words. I don't know, I'm kind of just lost to explaining that, but I'm going to share you a story of an adoption that one of the reasons they picked my kitten was because of a descriptive word I used. So I had one kitten named Bellamy. He was a bottle baby of mine. He actually got adopted a while ago, but I still remember this from his adopters because when they came to meet him and adopt him, they said, oh, I saw on your description that you referred to him as a teddy bear. And we just loved that so much. We actually already have another cat named Teddy at home, and when we saw that you called him a teddy bear, we were like, we need another teddy bear in our life. And so there's an example of a little descriptive word I just threw in to make the description more interesting and actually got him a home. Because yes, he's amazing, he's so cute, but he was a brown tabby, and there were a lot of brown tabbies on the website at that time, so sometimes it's hard for kittens like that to stand out when you have a lot of the same color, so that was just a little way I had him stand out, and then he got adopted because of it. You should also always share important things or desired things in your kittens. If a kitten needs to go home with a sibling, put that. Even if they just could go home with the sibling and could do well, I pretty much always put which kittens they know already, and so that if people are looking for two, they could automatically match them just by reading the descriptions. Also put if they do get along or if they don't get along with other cats, dogs, kids, that type of thing, because a lot of people will look for a cat that is good with dogs. So if you have a kitten that's been introduced to a dog and they did well with it, put that in the description because that's something that people would specifically look for. Or also, on the contrary, if you have a cat that cannot go home to a dog, put that in there so that if people read it and are like, oh, we have a dog, they can already move on and know that that home wouldn't work for it without you having to like start the process of adoption and then it not work out. It reduces some messiness. So in some situations, putting something like they don't get along with other cats or dogs can make them seem less appealing, but in that situation, it's important for the adopters to know that so that they can just narrow down without having to talk to you personally that that cat wouldn't work for them. I want to say that my descriptions are usually roughly like a paragraph long. Depending on your rescue, they may want them to be a little bit shorter than that. I know that mine are like the perfect length for my rescue. We do a lot of our adoptions online, or not actually giving the kittens online, but people will find the kittens they want to adopt online before meeting them in person. So the description, having it be longer, helps people find out which kitten they want to meet before they meet them. So talk to your rescue and see like exactly how long they want the descriptions to be, but I'd say like for a good description, I'd say it would be about a paragraph long. To help you newbies out, or just people that feel like they aren't very good at writing descriptions, I've written like a basic little formula. You don't have to follow this. I would say I don't even follow this a lot of the time, but this is just a good little basis for how you could write a good description. Now let's get into this little formula that you don't have to follow, but if you want to, here it is. Or even if you just want to roughly base your descriptions around it. So the first sentence should be the name of cat, because I always put that in, and I usually put some figurative language here. I'd say my favorite here is a metaphor, because I will compare the kitten to something appealing. Just like I said, I compared Bellamy to a teddy bear. I've compared another kitten to a tiger, you know, just like different fun things that you could compare your kittens to. This also is a really great hook because people will see the kitten compared to something fun and then they'll be like, oh, this kitten must be fun, I should keep reading. So usually I put around 2 sentences in where I'm sharing the personality and some adjectives. So it's kind of hard to describe what I'll do, but you know, I'll mention if the cat is a lap cat, I'll mention if it's super playful, you know, just other little things, and I'll throw in some adjectives in there too. The next sentence will be some compelling quirks. This is if the kitten is chatty, I'll put that in. This is if the kitten likes to watch YouTube with me, I'll put that in. I'm using those examples because they're the only ones I can think of at this moment. So I'll put in a little fun quirk there, or just other information that is kind of a quirk that they need to know about, and I'll put it in a more positive connotation. So the next sentence I will put in some more important desirable info, like if they get along with other animals or kids, you know, I already talked about that. So we'll just move on, and then I'll kind of put in a closing sentence. This one is pretty optional. I just like it to kind of sum it up, make it feel like a full little mini essay. And depending on my mood, I could put something like, this kitten would make an amazing cat and you should totally adopt them. That's pretty simple, but something along the lines of like, you should adopt this cat. Or I'll also just put like more compelling things about them. Like, this kitten is the sweetest kitten ever and you would never regret taking them home. So usually just something like, you know, nodding, like, remember this cat is up for adoption. Remember, you should adopt this cat. So that's pretty much what the closing sentence is. It's not necessarily like, in conclusion, this cat is very nice. No, it's still a pretty informal piece, so it's just like another little sentence to leave them with. So yes, that is pretty much my little formula. So let's get on to writing the descriptions for my kittens. I'm gonna open my computer because I'm gonna write them here. So I'm here ready to write the first description for my first kitten that we're doing today. These kittens aren't in my room, so you haven't seen them running around, but I will try and insert pictures of them. I think I have updated pictures for all of them, but Eloise, and we'll get to her because she is one of the most active kittens ever. She's just so excited to see you when you go in the room that even if she's sound asleep, like, she will pop up and run over to you. So it's really hard to get pictures of her because she's always moving when I'm in the room. But yes, Eleanor, this is a good example of a kitten that is nice and amazing, but she has some not so nice quirks. Her main quirk right now is that she is kind of shy. Most of the time, my kittens aren't very shy at all, and her litter mates are pretty like outgoing and fun, so I think it's just her personality. Her personality is just that she's a little bit shy, but she is still very sweet. She pretty much is good with me now, and so I'm going to write it more like she's scared of new people, because that's really the truth, you know. She pretty much, you know, she needs to get to know you before she does anything. And there's a kitten in the litter box again. Okay, so I don't always use this formula I've made up. I literally made it a few minutes ago, so I didn't even know it was like fully a thing until I started like planning for this video. But I'm going to use it today just for the sake of like letting you know how it could work. So I'm going to write Eleanor. Let's say Eleanor, what should we kind of talk about her? She's a girl, so I could use something like beautiful lady. Let's compare her to a princess. Let's do that. I don't know if I've done that before. If I have, it's been a while. And I won't use like the same adjectives or compare kittens in the same litter to the same things, but if it's been several months, there's a good chance that the only people seeing both of them are other volunteers at the rescue, because most other people aren't like keeping up with a ton of the social medias once they've already adopted a cat, and they probably wouldn't remember, so I think it's safe to reuse stuff like that after several months. You pretty much have to if you've had as many kittens as I have. So this is where I'm gonna head over to thesaurus.com because I want to use beautiful, but there are just no words coming into my head that is like a good thing for beautiful. I don't know why I don't want to use beautiful, so let's see. Just looking at some of these. Elegant, that's perfect. So Eleanor is an elegant princess. So that's a metaphor there. Eleanor is an elegant princess. So that's gonna be my first sentence there. And then let's see, for her personality. She is very sweet and loving. That's so basic. I need to change that. Sometimes I'm writing these out and I'm catching myself. I'm like, that that's boring, and you know, it happens. So let me just think. She chooses the finest people to be her friends, which is pretty much anyone that is nice to her. That's a funny little thing. She chooses the finest people to be her friends, which is pretty much anyone that is nice to her. It does take her a little while to warm up though. However. So what I've come up with so far is Eleanor is an elegant princess. She chooses the finest people to be her friends, which is pretty much anyone that's nice to her. This, you know, says in fancy terms that she is very nice and she's very caring and she loves people. However, here I'm going to add the sentence where it does take her a little while to warm up, however, so you'll have to be a little patient as you win over her heart. This is kind of a way to just, you know, put in that she's shy, and when I am kind of mentioning these unappealing qualities, which, you know, a lot of people just want really outgoing kittens, and she really is sweet, but she just takes a little while to warm up. So in this situation, I think I'm gonna do kind of a rose thorn rose thing. I don't always do this, but since she's shy, so I just added in, when she trusts you to be a friend, you will have the gentlest and I want to put another adjective in here, something like sweetest, but thesaurus.com here. Oh, it brought up a bunch of like delicious things, so that's not really what I'm looking for. Sweetest, I'm gonna change that to kindest because that's another similar thing. Hang on, gentlest and affectionate, and most affectionate. You will have the gentlest and most affectionate. So when she trusts you to be her friend, you will have the gentlest and most affectionate kitten in the land. I thought about putting like the most affectionate princess, but sometimes you don't want to overdo it with these metaphors. You don't want to go crazy with it. So I just put, you know, in the land, which kind of alludes to the princess thing, you know, like it's in the kingdom or something. So I think that's just a cute way to kind of keep it going along with the princess theme, but I'm not just saying she's a princess again, which I might do that later. I just don't want to do it a ton. So I've done the personality things. I did 3 personality sentences, and I actually kind of already gave her quirk off. I'm not sure. I kind of like switched it up. So I did like personality, quirk, personality, which isn't the way I wrote it down, but again, like, you don't have to follow this. It's just kind of a guide. A rough guide, actually. So I do want to add one more sentence, though. I know I've added a lot already. I just, you know, I go crazy with these. I try so hard on them because I want my kittens to get adopted. So the next sentence I added was, you can find her playing with her siblings when she's not snoozing peacefully on a bed, though she is never the roughest gal of the group. So I think that's kind of the last one that I'm gonna add of like the bulk of her personality. So now I'm going to add in Eleanor. Sometimes I will kind of add in their name again after several sentences, just starting with, you know, a pronoun or not mentioning her name. It's just kind of what I feel like flows for that particular description. So Eleanor gets along well with other cats and kids, and she would love to be adopted with either Eloise, Elliot, or Eli. That's just their litter's name. They all start with E-L. And the last sentence I added would, you would never regret adding this stunning sweetheart to your family. So that's kind of the closing sentence I chose for that particular one. I used stunning sweetheart as a bit of like, what's that called? Is it repetition? It's just like where you use the same word. It's just when you use like the same first letter a couple times. It just makes things sound nice and interesting. So I'm going to quickly read out her description and then we can move on to the next one. Eleanor is an elegant princess. She chooses the finest people to be her friends, which is pretty much anyone that is nice to her. It does take her a little while to warm up, however, so you'll have to be a little patient as you win over her heart. When she trusts you to be her friend, you will have one of the gentlest and most affectionate kittens in the land. You can find her playing with her siblings when she is not snoozing peacefully on a bed, though she is never the roughest gal of the group. Eleanor gets along well with other cats and kids, and she would love to be adopted with either Eloise, Elliot, or Eli. You would never regret adding this stunning sweetheart to your family. I forgot that I almost always add after like they could be adopted with one of their siblings. I put, or to a home with another young cat. I somehow forgot to do that, so I just added that in. So now we're going to move on to the next kitty, which is Eloise. So Eloise is the one I mentioned that it's hard to get pictures of. I definitely can put a picture on the screen of her actually, but it's probably an old one because it's really hard to get pictures of her because of how movie she is. So she's definitely probably the most outgoing of the bunch. She's very playful and she just loves people and is very active too. So I'm going to reflect that as I kind of write her description. So let me think, what do I kind of want to compare her as? A social butterfly. We'll use that. We'll just use that. It's not the best I've come up with ever, but it works. Eloise is definitely a social butterfly. So the next sentence is, she loves people and will run up to whoever enters the room. So I want to put she's active, and I also want to say loving, but that's repetitive because I already put loves. I already used affectionate too. So I put she's very active with one of her favorite activities being pouncing on her brothers and sister. I want to put loves being pet, but I don't want to use loves again. So let's check and see. She adores. That's good, that's good. I didn't actually see it, I just thought of it. I'm gonna search synonyms for affection. So, she adores pets and will purr when people are kind to her. I'm gonna put give her attention. So I just put 2 sentences for personality and some adjectives, and now I'm going to her quirk is that she just doesn't sit still for photos when you come into the room, so I kind of want to place something on that. I'm gonna like mention zoomies maybe. Okay, so then I put she zooms around when she's excited to see someone so much that it is hard to get photos of her a lot of the time. So that's definitely true. So now I'm gonna throw in kind of similar sentence to the one I put in Eleanor's. So I just threw in this sentence: she gets along well with other cats and kids, and she would love to be adopted with either Eleanor, Elliot, or Eli, or to a home with another young cat. Now for the concluding sentence, I'm just gonna throw in, I use words like love bug or sweetheart a lot. Like I use sweetheart and Eleanor. I'm trying to think of like a word for love bug that's like very zoomy because she's very active. I can't think of one, so let me just think of something else. I want to put something like amazing. So again, thesaurus.com, like I cannot tell you how much I use this. I'm gonna put incredible. So let me just read you the finished description for Eloise real quick. So this is, Eloise is definitely a social butterfly. She loves people and will run up to whoever enters the room. She's very active, with one of her favorite activities being pouncing on her brothers and sister. She adores pets and will purr when people give her attention. She zooms around when she's excited to see someone, so much so that it is hard to get photos of her a lot of the time. She gets along well with other cats and kids, and she would love to be adopted with either Eleanor, Elliot, or Eli, or to a home with another young cat. Eloise is absolutely incredible and would be the perfect addition to your home. 2 more to go. We got this. Sometimes I have as much as like 6 at a time, and that's kind of overwhelming. I try and spread them out if I can, but I usually forget that they're due and then scramble to get them done. I always try, even when I'm scrambling, but sometimes I can be a little bit rushy to try and get the newsletter out on time. Okay, so this is Elliot. Just thinking about Elliot, he's pretty sweet. Yeah, he's sweet. He's pretty playful too. Honestly, he's like kind of a generic kitten. That's the ones that's always the hardest for me to write because they don't have super interesting personality quirks. They're just kind of there and they're great. Like they're not super chill, they're not super active, and I'm just like, okay, you're a brown tabby, so I gotta get something interesting. So let's think for a minute. I can go ahead and write his name because I always start with that, and then let's think about something. Oh, I got it. This is a little bit different than what I usually do, but Tweety. But this is basically Elliot. I have a mustache. Tweety. I have a kitten mustache. Okay. Hi, Bubby. I love you, but I'm filming. I'm still filming. Yeah, I'll be done soon and then I can pet you. Hi, ma'am. Skirt, scoot, scoot, scoot. So this first sentence is, Elliot is the kind of cat that your friends come over to see. And this doesn't describe him as anything, but it definitely like lets you know that like, I'm kind of alluding to the fact that your friends don't come over to see you. They come over to see your cat. So that's kind of, I'm going to like make that his little personality. And I kind of do give cats like a little personality, like word trait thing, but it makes it easier to describe them and kind of keep up with a little theme for the description. So the next sentence I wrote is, he likes to say hi, but you have to come over to him first because that bed next to the window is too good to give up. He's pretty much a classic cat, like I said, he just acts like a cat. So kind of playing into that in a fun way. I'm kind of portraying him as a lazy butt because he kind of is. So then I put, he'll run around with the siblings, but not before his nap. And then he'll nap again after that, because that's definitely him. He just like stays on the bed and he's just like, hi, come pet me. Come bring me my food. No, I'm not gonna run that far. No, what are you talking about? So I've kind of given a little bit of his quirks already with the laziness. So I kind of want to change it up a bit. You know, I don't want to just say like, he's lazy, he's lazy, he's lazy, because they'll be like, okay, we get it. He's very one-sided, and like cats aren't one-sided, so I shouldn't portray it like they're one-sided. So then I put, however, he loves his people and is thrilled when they want to nap near him. And then I added, even if you're not napping and just sitting still. Okay, then I just put a very similar sentence to what I put in all the others, which is, Elliot gets along well with other cats and kids and would love to be adopted with Eleanor, Eloise, or Eli, or to a home with another young cat. I know that sentence is boring, but I feel like it's just a sentence that's gotta be in there, sandwiched in between all the fun stuff, because, you know, I'm putting in the information that's important. You know, people need to know that he gets along well with other cats and kids, and they need to know he'd do great with a sibling or another cat. And so then I put, Elliot is an amusing love bug that would love to come live with you and soak in your love. So I'll just read you his finished one real quick. Elliot is the kind of cat that your friends come over to see. He likes to say hi, but you must come over to him first because that bed next to the window is too good to give up. He'll run around with his siblings, but not before his nap. and he'll nap again after that. However, he loves his people and is thrilled when they want to nap near him, even if you're not napping and just sitting still. Ellie gets along well with other cats and kids and would love to be adopted with Eleanor, Eloise, or Eli, or to a home with another young cat. He is an amusing love bug that would love to come live with you and soak in your love. Okay, one more, we can do this. So this is Eli. My mom says it stands for Elijah. Okay, sure, I'm putting it in as Eli, so that's what it's gonna be, but it can stand for Elijah if you want. So Eli is definitely the chill. He's the chill one of the group, so I'm definitely gonna play into that a bit. I'm just gonna put Eli is the chill guy on the block. It's another one that's not like comparing them to a thing, but it's just like comparing them to a type of person. Okay, I just added in a couple sentences real quick, and that is, he'll participate in the fun activities like wrestling with his siblings or exploring the new cat tower. However, he has a sort of anything goes type of personality. He's cool with new things, but he's fine if nothing ever changes. So he loves pets and being treated like the best thing since sliced bread. And he'll stay near you because even though you're technically just another person, he loves you. And the last two sentences are, he does well with other cats and kids and he would love to be adopted with Eleanor, Eloise, or Elliot, or to a home with another young cat. Eli has a heart of gold, even though he's more of an easygoing guy, and he'll be your best friend if you choose to bring him home. So now I'm just gonna read you the final thing. Eli is the chill guy on the block. He'll participate in fun activities like wrestling with his siblings or exploring the new cat tower. However, he has a sort of anything goes type of personality. He's cool with new things, but he's fine if nothing ever changes. I'm gonna change that to, he's cool with new things, but he's fine if life only has its everyday wonders. Meaning that like, nothing super exciting happens. He loves pets and being treated like the best thing since sliced bread, and he'll stay near you because even though you're technically just another person, he loves you. He does well with other cats and kids, and he would love to be adopted with Eleanor, Eloise, or Elliot, or to a home with another young cat. Eli has a heart of gold, even though he's more of an easygoing guy, and he'll be your best friend if you choose to bring him home. So those are the descriptions. I'm gonna read through them again before I like send them off to the rescue, so things might end up being slightly different, but that's basically the rough outline. And so now that I've pretty much laid all this information out with you, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you find this video super helpful, and if you did, make sure to like it and subscribe for more kitten related content. I upload on Sundays and Wednesdays if I can, and if I can't, then I upload whenever I want to. Also, please make sure to leave any thoughts or questions that you have down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching again, and goodbye!